There's a popular saying in landscape photography called f8 and be there. The idea being that you don't worry too much about your camera settings, you set your aperture to f8, adjust your exposure, and the most important thing is being out and about in the landscape, and that's how you get those absolutely wonderful shots. But I think there is a case to be made changing that to f1.8 and being there, especially in the woodland. The woodland is very difficult genre to get into, I find, and especially in spring when we've got all these wildflowers out, bluebells are starting to come into flower, f1.8 can really help your creativity. So if you're stuck in a bit of a photography rut, maybe give it a try. Head out to your local woodland, like I've done today, and see what you can do. Now, I've said before that the reason I like shooting in the woodland so much is because it changes throughout the year. And I think this is a perfect example of that. We're in early spring, and we've got this blanket of really striking green sort of foliage on the ground. Then got this dark brown sort of log tree branch that's sort of fallen over, and it's, you know, giving us some lovely contrast, especially with these white flowers. We've got a few bluebells starting to come through. We've got all of this dappled light coming through the trees, which is really adding some contrast and some texture to the scene. And I think with a nice wide aperture, this will give us quite a nice scene here. We'll have a sort of nice bokeh of flowers in the foreground and the background, with then just this tree trunk in focus. So we're going to get down nice and low, which get a lot of these sort of flowers in the foreground. We'll get them all out of focus, with then just this tree stump in the background being the main subject of the shot. Oh, the light is just fantastic. Just got sort of shards of light coming through the image, if you like, and it's giving a nice shadow light. If you look through it, almost like sort of a zebra crossing type of thing. It's brilliant. Not my usual sort of thing, and I think that's what today is all about, but that I really like. So happy with that image. So what really caught my eye about this log here, the reason I used it as a subject, is because of all this fantastic detail and sculpture we've got in the wood. Got all of this lovely colour, lovely brown colour that contrasts with the flowers, the green, just makes it really stand out as a nice subject. And you've got all these sort of patterns, there's a bit of moss going on in it as well, which sort of ties it into the green flow. Just brilliant. Whenever I'm out, especially when I'm in the woodland, which I think is a particularly hard genre to take photos of, I always find that first shot to be the most difficult one. Once you've got that first shot in the camera, in the bag, everything just becomes a bit easier. Compositions just pop out and become more obvious. So if you often go out and struggle to take photos or struggle to come back with any photos, my advice would be just get the first shot taken. It doesn't have to be great. I've passed loads of compositions and thought, it's not really worth it, is it? But once you've got that first one, you get your camera in your hand, everything just becomes easy, you take more shots, and you come away with some good images. So that'd be my tip. If you go out, often coming back with nothing, get that first shot taken as soon as you can. As soon as you've seen something even half worthwhile, just grab a shot with it. I think you'll be surprised. We are now unfortunately quite close to the main road, which has kind of spoiled the peace and tranquility a little bit of this woodland, but never mind, because the birds are still singing, and look at this. The place has come alive with a sea of blue over here. It's absolutely fantastic. And over this way, just spied a really light coloured dead log that might work as a nice perfect background for all of these bluebells. Let's go and see what we can do. So the detailing on it again is fantastic, absolutely brilliant, lovely character, really light, the contrast well with the rest of the dark woodlands, fantastic. Just got to wait for some sunlight now. It's just gone behind a cloud and it's a bit disappointed, to be honest, but does that really matter in a place like this? It's absolutely wonderful. The view over that way, fantastic. No one around. New bit of woodland that I've never explored before. Bluebells everywhere. What more could you really want? Just being out here, fantastic. So what we've got over that way is that log that I was just talking about, the bluebells leading up to it, and then that fantastic view in the background of the rolling hills. Only trouble is we have got a fence and a house down there, which I don't particularly like. We can try and use the fence post and the tree to kind of frame it, which I think works quite well. Maybe as a square crop, that'll really work. But I want to try and edit out as much of the house as I can. Of course, I can't get too low, because if I get too low, I start to lose this log, which was part of the focus really. Otherwise it becomes just a picture of this view, which actually might not be too bad. Maybe I'll take that as well. Tell you what, let's revert to the old saying, f8 and be there. Let's try that for a bit. A couple of f8 shots, focus stack, one on the view in the background, one on the log. These bluebells in the foreground can be out of focus, lovely leading your eye into it so you don't get too distracted at the bottom. So this is what I mean, up with the top here, pretty good. And as we come down, start to lose that house, which is exactly what I want. Obviously if we get too low, just start to lose the log. Somewhere I think around there works quite well. Do admittedly still have the house in it, but something like that is pretty good. Alright, so I've now relocated to a new Woodlands. I'm back at Kingswood, which is one of my favourite spots to take bluebell photos. Not far down the road from where I was originally, but absolutely fantastic. We're at sunset now, we've got the light streaming through this ancient woodland, carpet of bluebells on the woodland floor, and that way is an absolutely awesome shot to take. You get the sunset in the background, you get the carpet of bluebells, all the trees. I know it's an amazing shot because I got that last year and it's fantastic. One of my favourite shots of the year, in fact. But I tend not to take the same shot twice if I can avoid it. There's not a lot of point. I've already got that shot, and this is where I think that wider aperture is sort of making me open my eyes a little bit to different shots that I could take. And something that I've just spotted is this fallen tree branch over here, which we're going to use this light that's sort of streaming through the trees. We've got the nice shadows, creating a nice pattern on the woodlands, with those bluebells leading up to it. And is it going to be as good as that shot? I don't know, probably not, but is it different? Is it something that other people won't take? Absolutely. And I think that's the real reason to head out, and that aperture has really sort of opened my eyes to these other shots that I could be taking. So let's get to it, see what we can do. So that is the log just there, that's behind me. You can see all this light is streaming through the woodlands, creating these absolutely fantastic shadows on the floor. I'm going to try and use that as much as possible, keep the aperture as wide as we can, and that way I'm hoping that we'll get the bluebells out of focus, just that log, really draw attention to it with that fantastic light on it, really bring that into the subject of the shot. Oh, the light coming through these trees is just fantastic. It's illuminating this log, looks absolutely wonderful. Of course I've got to be a bit careful with my shadow because I don't want to cast my own shadow onto this and just sort of end up with a shadow stopping in the middle of the frame. I only want the trees really and the light streaming through. So just moving around trying to get myself behind a tree so we don't cast too much of a shadow. Try different angles, just seeing what we can do. I think low, as is often the case with bluebells, works the best. So this here, absolutely nothing special at all, it's just a fallen over tree stump, but it's surrounded in this sea of bluebells, and we've got that stunning light from the sunset behind me giving it a nice orange glow. And what drew me to it was those colours and that light. Fantastic detailing in all the wood, it's got all that sculpture that I really like, and with that large aperture, the sea of bluebells in the foreground and indeed the woodland in the background is all out of focus, just drawing your eye to this object. And it's just a bit arty really, and a bit different, a bit creative. And it's certainly a different shot to what I've taken before, and this, you know, using a wide aperture has really just helped me try and find some other shots and save getting just the same old boring shot. Well, it's not boring, it's a good shot, but the same old shot that I got last year, and just made me focus on something a little bit different, which was the whole point. I just absolutely love it. Being out here, there's no one else out here, you've just got the sound of the birds, whole place to myself. Fantastic sunset, it looks like it's going to be amazing, a nice orange sky that way. Stay out for that. What a wonderful evening, so peaceful. And you know what the best part of this is that it focuses you on the intimate landscapes, the little details. So for all those people who say they're in a boring area, nothing to take photos of, which I'll be honest, includes me, down here in Kent in the UK, this is one for you, because you can just go out to a little patch of woodland, don't need something amazing, don't need a grand vista, don't need a mountain, don't need massive rivers and waterfalls and things. Just focus on those little details, get them nicely in focus with a nice bokeh for the background, and make a good, creative, artistic shot from it. Wonderful. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed this one. I've certainly had a great time making it. It's been fantastic to be out in a local woodland in spring, 20 odd degrees, sun is shining, absolutely wonderful out here. Just shows you just got to get out there and the photos will come. Hopefully it's given you some composition ideas for taking the old Bluebell shots. It's not something we often do in landscape photography, opening that aperture up nice and wide, but I really think it gives you a different view of the shot. You've got the Bluebell sort of, your eye draws through them and onto a subject in the background. Absolutely wonderful. If it has helped you get some composition ideas, then maybe give it a quick like so that YouTube shows it to more people. Hopefully it'll help them as well. If you've liked this one, give this video a quick watch. That's where I go out last year into Kingswoods and get some absolutely fantastic Bluebell shots. Sunset streaming through the woods onto the Bluebells. That was a great time as well. Consider subscribing for some other content. Thank you so much for watching and I really hope to see you soon. Said fantastic again. I say that a lot, don't I?